everybody. Um, Today we're gonna go ahead and go through the first chapter in the introduction of my book. I have it displayed right here. You're gonna see me looking up, and I got my Bible on standby. So I'm gonna read some of it to you, and then I'm going to give you some more context and share more recent events in my life that will also help with your understanding, basically. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there that this, what I'm telling you, is my personal experience. So my way could not be your way. It's just an example, okay? An example. Just need to put that out there, because things that work for me may have been, not everyone would say would be the right way, and at some point you're going to understand why I'm saying that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get to the introduction. I will read that whole thing because it's literally just 2 paragraphs, and I'm gonna read perfectly. Actually, no, let me not even say that, because y'all know I can't read. But anyways, starting today, I'll be showing you how to deepen your relationship with God, which will bring you closer to yourself. The things I will share with you will be based on my experience. You heard that? Know that your experience will be entirely different, which will be the most important part of your journey. I will tell you what to expect and what to avoid in this journey of self-discovery. It will not be a walk in the park. I made this book short, yet full of details, so you wouldn't feel weary. My purpose of writing this book is to make you know that you aren't alone in this unique journey. With that being said, let's get started. Anyways, then the first chapter is acceptance. Acceptance. What was the first thing I had to do before starting my relationship with God? You know what? I should have read that there, because that was supposed to be a question that y'all asked me. So I'm gonna ask it better. What was the first thing I had to do before? Actually, no, that ain't even what it was. I was telling y'all. I don't even know my own book. My bad. What was the first thing I had to do? Acceptance. I'm gonna, you know what? I think I'm just gonna read the whole chapter because it just makes sense. Maybe I should. Whatever. Acceptance. I had to come to terms with the fact that my life would no longer be the same, meaning I would no longer be able to do and say the things I once took pleasure in. The process was long. It was hard to accept. My thoughts kept holding me back, keeping me from making any moves. Eventually, I had to be pushed by God Himself, His people. They pushed me to where I needed to be, which was the mindset of acceptance, being ready for the changes that would take place beyond my control. Okay? Going to give you some context because I don't really give you none after that. So obviously, so back then it was like 2021, definitely like 2020 or 2021 era, where TikTok was popping. I'm telling you, but so many bad things was trending for real, and sometimes there would be these videos, random videos where people be like, you need to turn to God, you need to do this, you need to do that. And that God was waiting on me. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I already said this, but I already knew of God. But I didn't know who He was. But of Him, I prayed sometimes. And, at some point, I just started praying every night. Even though I didn't know Him, but I knew that it was the right thing to do, and that He existed, and why not, But at the same time, I was doing whatever I wanted to do, so that defeats the purpose. And there would be these YouTubers, not YouTubers, TikTokers, that would show up on my For You page and be like, hey, you need to turn from this, and you need to turn from that, and excuse me. And at some point, it started getting personal, telling me stuff that I actually was doing, and how like just seeing things that I related to about like depression and stuff, because I was going through that. And I don't know, it's just like they was reading me, and it was scary. And I'm like, maybe this is him trying to get me to connect. It was a whole like in denial and confused and scared. Like that was the whole feelings around it. And eventually I got myself to be like, hey, let's do it. And the things I need to let go of wasn't really having a tight grip on me like I thought it was. It was really just the mindset. It was really like, things that wasn't really beneficial at all. Like, scrolling on social media 24/7. Just wanting to sleep all day. Honestly, I was pretty boring. Like, I wasn't really doing much. I wasn't outside. I wasn't doing none of that. But I was lazy. That's something. And I really just, I had some unhealthy things, but like, how they need to be heard. But honestly, it was really all an illusion where I was like, the enemy was trying to convince me that I needed everything. I needed whatever I was doing or dealing with. I needed to keep holding on to these friends. I needed to keep holding on to these hobbies, and I need this, like, and like after some thinking, I'm like, do I really need music? No, that had me. It took a hot minute for him to get me to stop doing that. Like music was something I listened to 24/7, like 24/7. I don't think there's nothing else that you would saw me doing. Like headphones was in 24/7, and that was basically my God at some point. Like that was like the only thing that made me feel better. So that was that. But honestly, now I'm looking at it, it really wasn't even that deep. It wasn't even all that. So I don't think that's ever worth it to be like, I don't want to let this go. Maybe another time. Just holding off, what you need to be doing because of something, simple and stupid. I honestly still struggle with that to this day. Like procrastinating, telling myself I'm gonna do something and then don't do it. So that was that, and I don't want to take too long on one paragraph. So yeah, God's people was at my neck, and eventually I gave in, basically. Then, if you're looking for someone to guide you and teach you ways you should live to help better your understanding and faith, you can check out my channel on YouTube at Agent Twilight, which might not even stay my name, because that ain't even my name. It's not. And I'm just thinking about like what I should name my channel. Should it be my name? Should it be something? I don't know. Give me some time and we're gonna figure it out. And I'm not sure if I should make another copy of this book just to update that part, or if I'm just gonna use word of mouth and hope that everybody catch on. And then there are other channels I could recommend as well. Latoya Okia, yeah, she's super firm, really good. And then Prophetess Luho Barbie, it's Cassie Blanco. I made sure I looked up their channel names I made sure I was prepared, okay? And Prophet Productions, really good channels. Naturally, you're gonna find other people who align with you, but these were the people who helped me a lot with my faith, which is true, and I still, watch them to this day. I'm not saying, let me just let my book tell you. I should warn you, not everyone hears from God, so it's best you use discernment and to try to have a direct relationship with God so you won't need to depend on people. This is just for people who need help hearing from God and receiving guidance. And I meant that, okay? See, at some point in life, I could not function without having no video, without somebody telling me what I need to do step by step. Like, you don't need to be doing that, and you're going to be confused. It's going to cause confusion because someone's going to be telling you this, someone's going to be telling you that. Even if it's a trustworthy person, you can't be going after hundreds of different people you know, and expecting the same answer. You're gonna be confused. So just, you know, when you need it, excuse me, if you know you need it and you feel like there's nothing else you can do, make it a last resort. Okay? Don't make this be your number one, because that's idolizing, you know, even if you're not even trying to. God's gonna tell you, you know. So just don't make this your number one, okay? And then there's also false prophets out here who's just trying to make money out here and really hate God and following other things and just want you to be confused. Like, some of them really doing that on purpose. If you go to a channel and all they're doing is telling you what you want to hear, they capping. God don't be doing it. In fact, he mostly tell you what you need to do before he gonna tell you, you know, what he finna give you for that or all that stuff. And sometimes, you know, you won't get rewarded for doing what you're supposed to do. So don't be expecting somebody to tell you you're finna get $1 billion, and just don't even entertain that. You know, especially, see, what God would do, if you are finna get $1 million, he finna tell you that you about to start this business, and this business gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. You know, if you're gonna be fighting for your life for years, and then you get the $1 million. That's how he work. He not finna just hand it to you. So don't believe them if they tell you somebody's gonna be at your doorstep with $100 million and you ain't gotta do nothing. Don't believe that. Just leave that channel alone. Leave it right where you found it. Okay? We're moving on now. What was the hardest thing to accept? Myself. When our journey begins, we're not always where we want to be in life. In fact, it's almost never the case, which is why in NIV Matthew 11:28 it quotes, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Whatever place you're in, no matter where you are or what you did, rest assured you can still be saved, as long as you listen to his words and apply them. I know this won't be easy, so allow yourself some time to process, as long as you don't give up on hope. In my personal experience, I was afraid of change, having to drop my old habits and everyday activities. It was hard. I was lazy and would rather lie in bed all day than to read my Bible and put effort into getting close to God. That part was a little self-explanatory, but I told y'all I was gonna give you an updated version, so, you know, why not? And I feel like it's important for me to tell y'all, not only does this apply to yourself, but to other people as well. So, you know, you may have someone around you who is, I don't want to say this, but this is the only way you understand it, but who could be an awful person, do awful things to you, you know, and to other people, and all of a sudden, you know, they decide that they want to have a change in heart, and like, you could be holding on to that hurt and just looking at them in a different way, like you don't deserve that. But really, it's not up to you to make that judgment. So basically, I'm telling you that don't only apply to you, it also applies to everybody else. So you should not be judging people for what they could have done. And in fact, it's your job to make them know that they can be forgiven and like they can get another chance. So that's my updated version. You know, I ain't mention that because I didn't learn that yet at the time. You know, at the time it was all about me before everybody else, and that is important for you to know. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet. I feel like I will though, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. But at some point, like, you're gonna be alone in this journey. You're gonna be by yourself. You're gonna lose everybody and everything, and it's gonna be rough. I'm telling you, it's gonna be rough. So yeah, it would be nice to have somebody to help you not feel alone, and to have somebody encourage you, let you know that no matter what you did, you're gonna be straight, and all you gotta do is right your wrongs by doing the right thing, you know. So as that may be hard to believe, but that was the whole point, you know. That was the whole point. We're gonna move on. My cats is at the door trying to get in, but I just know they gonna drive me crazy, so I'm not gonna open the door. So if you hear little bells ringing, that's them at the door. What motivated you the most? The thing that drove me to him the most was fear. If we're being completely honest, it's probably the thing that drove most of us. Don't be ashamed. In the Bible, God did many wonders that terrified the living daylights out of people. That's what he wanted. He knew it would get them to fear him. That fear would get us to believe in him and follow. Although fear should no longer be your drive after you truly get to know him, but faith. The knowledge that God is true and real and only wants what's best for you. Fear is not one of the fruits of the spirit, but from the enemy, something our flesh naturally produces. I'm just being real. Basically, yeah. That's what happened to me. That's the thing I try to tell you, where like some things just not okay that worked for me. That was one. I was mortified, honestly, because every day somebody was telling me that if I don't do this, if I don't do that, I'm going to hell. So best believe I'm about to open this book up. You hear me? I ain't going to hell. And that's just what it was. It was nothing more, nothing less. And once I got to know him, I was like, okay, you cool, you reasonable. I get it, you know. And that's it. Am I good enough? It's easy to think you're incapable of change because of what you might have done or what people say about you. None of those reasons are valid. If God says you can, you can. Otherwise, Jesus died for nothing. He died to cleanse us of our sins so that we can have a second chance and be born again, regardless of our past. Believe it with all your heart and hold on to that hope. Know that you'll have to put in the effort. Change doesn't happen overnight, not unless something very great or very drastic happens. It all starts in the mind. Remain hopeful. This is where faith comes in. Once you're ready to accept your new life, it's time to start those big changes. Big changes. And that was the whole acceptance chapter. And if you ain't like get the hint, the next chapter is called change. So yeah. So this is the first chapter, and if you feel like this is something that I like, something I'm interested in and want to read, or even get your own copy, then go ahead and strap in and wait on me to make more videos. And if you impatient like me, just go get the book and read it yourself. But then you ain't gonna hear what else I gotta say. But I'm not discouraging you from getting the book yourself. But you can also just read it yourself and then wait for me. Skip the part where I'm doing all the reading. Actually, you can't even do that because I'm like, as I'm reading, I'm trying to explain to you other things. But now that I'm older and I'm looking at that whole journey, like, it was so scary. Like, I became an absolute perfectionist trying to like be perfect for God, and I didn't even need to do all that for real. So if it's somebody out here starting off their journey, just let me be the one to tell you that you should take it easy on yourself. Don't be quick to do what you see other people doing. Like when they be fasting, they fast for 21 days or 40. Don't think you have to do that in order to be a Christian. At least when you're starting out, because obviously, like, we're basically like in rehab. Like, we're basically in rehab. We like trying to adjust to this new life and letting go of things that we once took part in daily, like drugs. We could have been drinking all the time. We could have been sexually immoral. It's hard to beat those cravings. Pause. No pause. I'm not even gonna be immature. But anyways, it's hard to fight those cravings. It's hard to, like, just live and not do what you like did every single day. Like, it's rough. And the people that's already fasting and already on fire, they've been there before. They can also tell you that they didn't start like that. And if you do that, you could like honestly harm yourself. Like, I wasn't ready, but I was like, God saw the effort that I was putting in and he appreciated it. He didn't want me to have to break my neck to make a point. But when you feel like you're ready to do all that, then then you step your toe in it, like one day at a time. Like, you can easily end up with an eating disorder trying to jump into a fast and be like, dang, I messed up today, I'm gonna try again tomorrow. And now you only eat a piece of bread every day, and like, cause you stuck. Like, you should plan that stuff. Don't just be willy-nilly, and just take your time. And another thing that not everybody's gonna tell you is, you don't have to talk about what you don't know. Like, if you see other Christians having a debate about like sexuality and all that stuff, and you have your doubts at the time, you're not gonna know. And don't let nobody pressure you into giving you an answer, because even God tells us that if you don't know nothing, don't even speak. Just hold your tongue, okay? Do not set yourself up for failure, okay? If you don't know about it, don't say nothing, okay? You are learning, and that's perfectly fine. There's stuff I won't even talk about because I don't think I have the understanding. There's people who is made to be able to talk about this, and not everybody can, you know? So don't jump on no trends. Don't worry about that. But you should always be ready. But if you don't know something, don't you speak on it. Don't you say nothing, okay? You don't want to have everybody out here looking ignorant, okay? Don't make yourself look like that, or then no one's gonna want to hear what you got to say. But yeah, always be true to yourself. Take your time, make mistakes, and learn from it. Do not pressure yourself into doing the most, because that's what I did, and that's one of the main things that kept me from wanting to be consistent, because I was super hard on myself, and I would experience burnout so much, and I didn't understand that that's what I was going through at the time, because I just knew that I wanted to be better, I wanted to do better, but I was putting in all the effort, but I was doing too much. Okay, you hear it from me. Take your time. But yeah, I'm not gonna make this video 30 minutes, so I'm gonna end it here. And I hope that I gained your interest and that you'll be interested in keeping up with the videos that's coming up, and to even get the book yourself, you know. Yep, that's it. Bye bye.